What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Got a review for you. Let's get into it. All right, guys, we're looking at a new model from Arizona, USA Blade Works called the Chochise. All right, Chochise. I keep messing this up. The Chochise. This one is a very budget-friendly model that they're offering, and it is 14C28N G10 micarta, titanium, pocket clip on ceramic bearings. Does all of this kind of sound familiar? It should, because this model is being manufactured by Megaron. What we're doing today is we're going to do some size comparisons, profile comparisons, and weigh the knife, and then we'll jump into my thoughts and impressions. Kicking it off with a couple of size comparisons, we have the Kaiser Towser S and the Devo Knives Growler. What you have here is basically a very gentlemanly-esque front flipper folding knife. Very thin, very low in profile, but it's still got those chunky scales, so it does offer really nice ergos. Let's go ahead and do a couple more size comparisons, and then we'll weigh it out. Okay, guys, here it is against a couple of Spyderco lightweights. We got the Manix 2 on the top, and we got the Para 3 lightweight on the bottom. And it actually is closer in size to the Para 3 lightweight. So I'm going to classify this as more of your smaller knife, not your full-size, full-hand knife. And then we're going to do the profile thickness real quick against a couple of these. And here's one of the reasons that I do love doing the profile on this knife. You can see how deep it'll carry, how much pocket space it'll occupy, and based off that pocket clip, how much you're going to have left over. So this is, very compact, going to take minimal room, going to have a little bit hanging out, but it may help when you go to find it to pull it out of the pocket. Let's check out the thickness against this Para 3 lightweight. You can see it is with those steel liners, G10 scales, a little bit thicker. They are not contoured, but they're chamfered, which kind of gives you that contoured type of vibe, the contoured scales. And then these scales also completely completely fat on the Towser S. Very similar thickness and profile there, as you can see here. Let's bring that scale out here and let's check the weight out. All right, scales out and on. We're going to check out what the Chochise is actually wearing. How about what it's actually weighing? 3.8 ounces. I'm on a roll today, aren't I? Which is pretty normal for this size. Chinese made knife, steel liners, G10, with the pocket clip. Nothing really unusual to see here. Let's go check out just a little bit of cutting in the garage, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys, in the garage with the AZusa. This one's 14C28N, flat ground blade. We're going to grab a fresh sheet of paper because I'm just realizing that I've finished using up that last sheet on the last cut test. Let's see what that factory edge through the pass-around group is feeling like. Yeah, so this one's definitely been cut with. I can't even get it into that paper at all. So we're not going to touch it up right now. What we're going to do next is we're going to demonstrate while 14C28N is not great at edge retention for fine edges, you'll see it does have a good working edge with a thick geometry even. It is biting into this single ply cardboard fairly good. Now the cardboard is a little mushy, so let's flip it to the other side and hope that we have slightly better results here. Yeah, so definitely a thicker geometry. The 14C28N has lost a lot of its bite on its edge. You have to get it started really good. It doesn't want to just, with that fine edge, dig into the material. And I'm not quite sure what's going on with this one, guys. This is one of the more poor performances I've seen from 14C28N. Let's try to come in somewhere where it is not going to give. Yeah, I can't even begin to explain the amount of resistance I'm feeling here. Don't know if it's geometry, if it's because the 14C28N it hasn't maybe been stropped along the way. Not quite sure what's going on. Yeah, I mean, it's tearing. What is happening here? This is a little disappointing, guys. Here's what I'm going to do. Let's go ahead. Let me see if I can run it through the strop. And after I strop it, let's see if there's any difference. Because this may be, even though the geometry wasn't great and the blade didn't perform well right here, and I'm just using some Goo Gone to get rid of any potential adhesive, perhaps after a good strop, we'll see something a little bit different. So let's strop it up. All right, try a little hone and strop. I feel a little bit of bite coming back. Let's see what it's at. Wow. Starting to come back a little bit out there towards the edge, but it is this. I mean, you saw when I started, this thing was toast. So I'm getting a little bit there. I'm going to try to do a little bit more. I'm not going to keep doing this on screen because I'll be down here a little bit. Let's go ahead, kick it back up to the desk, and we'll talk about that final result all at the same time. All right, guys, that was the Chochise. I definitely feel like the blade stock gets thick really fast. And I think that it has such a short blade on it that trying to go through that material, it just really struggled. I'm just going to discount everything that was going on with the blade's edge to being in the pass around group and just not being maintenanced as it's being passed around. 14C28N does much better if you strop it with each use. You know, if you break down a box, you do a little bit of cutting with it, you know, outside of maybe getting into a package, you're going to want to strop it to maintain its fine edge. You just see how 14C it doesn't have good edge retention for my intent and purposes, but you can get a screaming edge on it 100%. You can keep a working edge going for a long time. You saw it still cut that cardboard even though it struggled to bite, but I think that's more because there was, you know, just such an extreme edge angle going on with the knife. Very extreme edge angle, and then geometry getting not super thick. I'm not going to exaggerate. It gets thick fast, and all of that just translated to not a very good cutting experience. Ergonomically, though, the knife is very comfortable to hold. I'm not feeling any sort of bite or hot spots or anything like that with it in the hand. Very comfortable to kind of choke back and use this position to cut through your cardboard. And then again here, it's got a little scallop section. It's not huge, but you can kind of choke up, get you a little close to that edge with that finger as you kind of move past the first knuckle, and then you're in a nice position here to carefully apply pressure out on the tip. And then it's really quite comfortable here with that pinch grip or detail grip where you're going out to the tip, draw, cut, detail work, anything like that. So very nice there. Pinch grip, very comfortable as well. Nothing really great to grab onto here, but you can index or you can pinch grip and index, or you can just pinch grip. All of it felt comfortable, no issues. The thickness of the handles with the steel liners and those scales on top really make it comfortable. You got a nice G10 backspacer, good looking all blacked out design, very good access to the lock bar there. You're easily able to get your finger down in here to disengage the blade for closing it, and it has a very nice sound to it, especially on that close. The detent ball on this one is really dialed well. It sucks it in and kind of keeps that in place, and then a nice satisfying release or break of the detent there to have that deploy very snappy. So I wanted to slow it down because I don't want people to think it's the stop pin, which is going to be the next thing that I talk about. That's creating that noise. You know, that definitely is being locked into place and pulled in by the detent ball, and perhaps like a little bit of resonation on the stop pin there when it hits that closed position. But it's very well tuned, nice and centered here, as you can see. So good quality work, nice production, and good craftsmanship. The backspacer is very flush, very smooth. It looks like it's T8 hardware all throughout. Yep, T8 hardware, T8 hardware. So you're only going to need, and it's a little shallow there, I'm noticing that, but you're just going to need one bit. Make sure that you have a fresh driver when you take it apart if you find that the the bolt heads are a little bit shallow, and it looks like T6 on the pocket clip, which you truthfully, oh nope, T8, take it back. So one bit, very easy. You're just going to throw your bit in your driver and do all the maintenance that you want to do. But I was going to say, you probably on this one, because it's that 3-screw construction, don't even need to remove the pocket clip to take it apart, to clean it and lube it and maintenance your knife. Jimping is really good. I thought it looks a little big, but it is aggressive enough to where you don't have to worry about missing here. And they did take it all the way up to the top. They didn't wrap it around, but going all the way up to the top makes it very, very nice for all the typical means of deployment that people like with front flipper only knives. All in all, for what you're paying for, if it comes with a good factory edge, it's very impressive. $40. In my experience, 14C 28N from Migueron historically has been heat treated a little soft, so the edge is going to go away really quick compared to some other knives and their 14C 28N. But again, $40, cut with it, strop it, and you'll be good to go. Some things that would be really good, I would say where that stop pin is stopping, it is stopping directly behind the sharpening choil here. I don't know how well you'll see it, but I mean, it is partially using where the sharpening choil stops to land into that stop pin position. I don't like that, because if you are someone that wants to put a fresh edge or sharpen your knife, that's not going to be really good for this. I'd also say, if Migueron is capable, they should perhaps either do a hollow grind on this design, because it is a cool design and I like the design a lot, or perhaps with the design take the flat grind up a little bit further, or thin it out a little bit more behind the edge here. But this is one you're going to need to be careful with as you sharpen it, because you can't really put your own sharpening choil, or you can't extend the sharpening choil on here. This stop pin is going to hit right against it. So Migueron and or the design should allow for a press fit internal stop pin that rides around with the blade into the steel liners, and just get rid of that altogether, and that'll eliminate your problem there. Outside of that, just a little bit of, this scalloping here probably needs to be shallowed out a little bit so that the pivot sits flush. I'm feeling that a little bit when I'm holding the knife in hand. I just feel that section, they knocked it down to where it's not sharp, but I can feel where that drop is. I would probably say just, tweak that a little bit, because it's on both sides here with the pivot collar itself hitting that scallop section, and then over here the pivot, it's doing the same thing, kind of has that little drop off. Very minor little things, except for that stop pin. That stop pin's a big deal, because you would have to go ahead and add a sharpening tool out here without removing any material behind it, because that is legit where that stop pin hits. And that's kind of unfortunate, because it limits you and it limits the life of the knife and your ability to add your own edge, etc. For $40, it's an okay deal. For $40, there's the Vosteed Acorn. I think that was out there for $40. I think that the CJRB Nova, if you like something a little bit slender with one means of deployment out there, that's going to be a little bit thinner. And I like RPM 9 personally a little bit better than 14C28N at these price points. It has proven to be a very good edge retention knife, and you can get a really good edge on there as well. So for me, it's a pass on the Blitzkrieg, but if you like it, you have $40 and you want to pick up a Chochise, this is a good, well-made knife with some opportunities for improvement, in my opinion. Let me know what you think about the Blitzkrieg, the Chochise, down in the comments below. And thoughts and impressions on this one for you. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear from you. If this one isn't your cup of tea, just let me know what you're carrying down in the comments. I love to see your guys' pocket checks, see what you're carrying. Sometimes it leads to things that I am interested in that I maybe have not had an opportunity to check out just yet. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed, like it on your way out. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along. Special thank you to those channel members out there. That extra layer of loyal support is greatly appreciated, guys. I love you all. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.